Hello and thank you for coming to my channel. This is Rick's Garage, and today we're going to be doing the final pack and the final stage of iXO's collections of Willys Jeep, pack 24, stages 116 to 120. Now once we're done with stage 120, this entire build will be completed. So this kind of like has a bittersweet end to it. I've enjoyed doing this build, and I've looked forward to each day that I do a stage and do a pack. But this is going to be the last stage, the last screw, and the last part after stage 120. So I put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right over to iXO Collections if you'd like to get this for yourself. But without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, in stage 116 we're going to be working on the shield braces, camouflage bar, and the accessory pouch. So let's get this out. Okay, in stage 116 we're going to start off with the shield, looking just like this, and this is metal. In fact, all these pieces are metal except for these two right here. These are plastic. And you want your shield in this way around. And you'll notice that there is these little details that are facing you. You want to make sure that that's facing you. You don't want this side here. You want this side. So we're going to put that down face up on our work surface, and then we're going to take this part here, which is plastic, and you'll notice that there are some details on here. Like they've got a little bit of a net detail right there, if you can see that. We want that facing up toward us. We're going to match those holes up to these holes here. We're going to put that right like that, and we're going to secure that in with 4 DM screws. And that's how that looks once that's installed. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to turn this over, and I'm interested in this area right here because that's where we're going to take our accessory pack. We're going to place it over these 2 lug holes right there. We're going to turn it over, and we're going to secure that in with 2 CP screws. So I got a screw already loaded on my screwdriver, and we're going to screw that right in. Okay, we'll get our other screw here. And that's how that looks once that's installed. Okay, now next what we want to do is we want to bring over our gun, and we want to turn it around this way around. So this is upside down. This is how the gun looks upside right. It's going to turn over like this. And there are 3 secure points. One here, here, and here. We're going to match up to the holes that are here, here, and here. So we're going to take this. We're going to slip it down just like that. We're going to secure that in to those points that I pointed out with 3 SM screws. Okay, I finally got that in. This took me about 20 minutes to do. This was not an easy thing to do. The screw holes were not really lining up. This was not a problem. I started off with this screw here. But these 2 screw holes over here, they did not line up, so that's what really took a long time for me to get those screws to secure into that plate. But that's how that looks once that's installed. Okay, now next what we want to do is we want to take these support rods right here, which are made out of metal. And there is a hole here on this arm, and there is a screw hole right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this rod in through that hole like that. And then we're going to match up this hole on the screw rod right there, and we're going to secure that in with a DM screw, and we're going to repeat that on the other side. Now the best way I know how to do this, based on my experience on this side over here, is to pre-thread your screw through your hole of your bar. Then put your bar through the hole where it needs to go. Line your screw up, and then screw it in, like that. Make it nice and tight. And that's how that should look when both of those bars are in place. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, and pack 17 or stage 17, we're going to be working on the elevating piston the transversing lever mechanism, elevating mechanism, bracket, transversing mechanism, just a whole bunch of mechanisms that we're going to be putting on the gun here. So let's get these parts out. Okay, in stage 17 we have a set of plastic parts and we have a set of metal parts. And the first thing we want to work on is what they call the transversing mechanism, which is what these two pieces are, these two plastic pieces. And we're going to match them up just like this. And right here we're going to then secure that in with a CP screw. Okay, looking just like that. Okay, now next we're going to take this piece here, they're calling this the transversing cover. And then this piece here, they're calling this the transversing lever. And you'll notice that there is a square hole right down through there. And this is going to go through that hole. And we're going to push this through all the way down until it gets flush to that hole. Okay, and that's how that looks once that's installed. You'll see a little bit of a detail here on the outside, but this is pushed all the way through. Okay, then we're going to take this piece that we've just been working on, and with the piece in this position like so, we're going to just put that cap on just like that. Now this is just placed in there, it's not secured in, it's not screwed in or snapped in. And this is going to get a little tricky what we have to do next. Over here we're going to bring our gun over and we're going to install this entire assembly we're working on. We're going to install it right here, right in through here. So we're going to take this, hopefully I can show you this on camera, put it in just like that. And right here there's a locating hole that's going to match up to the locating lug that's right here. So essentially what's going to happen is that this piece is going to go in just like this, with this end here going out through this hole, go in just like that, and then this piece is going to then snap into place up here, and then when we turn this around, we're then going to secure it on the back side with an SM screw. So let me get this all situated for you and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, this was not an easy part to put in. It is hard to get that in there because you need to get this through the hole here. At the same time, you need to then secure that locating lug on the side. So that's how I got that in. Okay, next we want to take this piece here and you're going to take this screw lug, go through this slot and then match it to the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it in this way, like that, so it matches in just like that. And then we're going to turn this over and we're going to secure that in right down in there with an SM screw. So I'm going to try to show you where I'm screwing this in, right in there. I'll screw that nice and tight. Okay, that's how that looks once it's all installed, just like that. And then on the other side, you screw it in right through there. So okay, now next we're working on the elevating mechanism and case, which is what these pieces here are, and these are metal. So we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to take this here, and you'll notice that there's a notch there. That's going to go around the notch of the screw hole, like that. Then we're going to take this piece like this, put it over like that, and we're going to secure that in with an SM screw. Okay, and that's how that looks once that's all installed or put together. Then we're going to bring our gun over like this, and this screw hole here, we're going to put this piece this way around on top of that screw hole like that, and we're going to secure that in with a JM screw. And a JM screw is a flange screw. Get this on my screwdriver. Looking like that, and we're just going to go ahead and just install that right there. looking just like that. Okay, next we're going to take this bracket, which is metal, bring our gun back over, and this hole here is going to go over this screw lug here. Then on the back of this piece is a locating lug and a screw hole, which is going to line up to these two holes here. So I'm going to put this on here like this first, which is then going to help me align up those screw holes like that, and I'm going to screw that in with an SM screw. And then right here, I'm going to secure this in with a JM screw. And there you go. That's how that looks. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in stage 18 we have the hand wheel, the transversing lever, the wheel grip, a gear case, and a transversing shaft support. So let's get all these parts out. Okay, now in stage 18 or 118, these are the metal parts here, and these two pieces over here are plastic. We're going to start this off with this part here, and they're calling this the elevating control support, and then this one here they're calling the transversing lever support. And you'll notice that on this piece here there is a keyhole shape to it, and that is going to match the shape of this piece here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this part here, and you'll notice that there is a lug right there, and that lug is going to match up to that keyhole shape like this, so that when you're looking at it, it kind of like goes at an angle. And then on the reverse side over here, we're going to secure that in with an EM screw. Okay, now when you put this in, you want to make sure that it's going in this angle, pointing in this direction, away from this flat end over here. So that's how that should look when that's installed. Okay, next we're going to turn this over this way. Then we're going to take this piece right here, this way around, and we're going to fix it in right there using a DM screw. Okay, this is going to be a fiddly piece to put in, but you'll notice that there is a lug right here. And that's a locating lug that is going to match up to this notch that's right there. So trying to get this in is going to be a flimsy piece. It's going to be a little frustrating to get that in there. But let me come back and I'll show you what that looks like once I get that installed. Okay, now when that's in, that's how that should look. And that is not an easy piece to put in. That's going to be a little frustrating. It was more than just a little frustrating. It was a lot frustrating to get that in. And we have another frustrating piece to put in, because next we're going to take this part here and this part here, and we're going to put them together just like this. Whoops. Get that back in again. It's going to go on just like that. And then at the same time, we're going to slip in, get this back on again. Then we're going to slip this part in like this underneath here, and we're going to secure that all in with a DM screw. So we got three parts we have to marry up and screw in. So let me get this in and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, now I'm trying to get this in like this. Line that screw up and then kind of twist that in this way just to get that screw started. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to pre-screw that screw through that hole. I'm going to put it in right like that. Let's zoom in. Okay, I'm going to hold that there. I'm going to take this part here, match that screw hole up, just like that. hold that in, and screw that down. And that's how that should look once that's installed. Okay, next we're going to take our wheel here. Looks like a steering wheel. And you'll notice that there is a kind of a lug right there that's going to match up to the lug we have, or the slot we have right here on our rod. So we're going to take that and match that up just like this, and this is just a push to fit. This should just go in just like that. So once that's all seated in, it looks just like that. Then we're going to take our other piece here, which they call this a handrail grip. It's going to go into this hole here, and this is also just a push to fit. Goes in just like that. Okay, next we want to bring our gun over, like this. And this screw hole here, and then you have a locating lug hole there. And that's going to match up to the screw hole here and the locating lug there. So those 2 points are going to match up just like that. And we're going to secure that in with an SM screw. Get that in nice and tight. And that's how that looks when that's installed. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in step 19, or in stage 19, we have our transversing knob, coupling rod, telescope, a wing nut, a transversing lever and shaft, and a telescoping bracket. So let's get these parts out. Okay, now these are all the parts that come in this stage, and this they're calling the telescope bracket. To me, this looks more like a handle that you would turn. This they're calling the telescoping rod, and then this is our wing nut. You can see how small that is. This is plastic. You can see how tiny that is, and all these other parts over here are plastic. Okay, so we're going to start this off with taking this piece right here, which is the rod, and you'll notice that there's a little bit of a detail at this end here, and this end over here does not have a detail. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it over that screw hole just like that, and we're going to secure that in with a JM screw. Okay, so I got my JM screw on my screwdriver, and we're just going to then secure that right in, just like that. And that does move a little bit. Okay, next we're going to bring our gun over, and then we have this part right here that we put in, and we can move that, which is going to be important when we start to install this piece. But we also have a hole up here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this piece here and this way around with this screw lug pointing up toward you, or facing up toward you. I'm going to put this piece right down onto this screw hole right there. Then we're going to then align these two pieces up just like this, so then when it's in, it looks like that. And then right down here, we're going to secure that in with a JM screw. They're not asking us to put anything up here yet. They're just asking us to put in a JM screw right there. And that's how that looks once all that's installed. So we have our piece up here and down there, and this does move. You can turn this down and up, just like that. Okay, now next, what they want us to do, I'm going to take this piece here, looking like that, and there is a little hole right there that we're going to then attach this wing nut to. So let me get this out, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, now initially I thought that wing nut was plastic, but it's actually metal. and that is a very tight fit. That's not going to really go anywhere. Once you've got that pushed in, which is a tight fit, it's not really going anywhere. I was thinking of actually gluing that, but that is actually in there pretty tight. So that's how that looks once that's installed. And then we're going to take our gun, and this lug right here is going to go into the hole right here. So I'm going to turn it around this way around, and we're going to then push that in just like that. And that's how that looks once that's installed. Now you can glue that. I'm not going to glue mine. I'm going to leave it the way that it is. It's in there kind of firm, but if you play with this a lot, you will knock that off. So but that's how that looks. Okay, now next you want to take this piece here, and with this end looking like this, it's going to go into this hole down here, and we're going to slide it in through this right here. So this is going to go in something like this. And then we're going to need to guide that right down there into that hole right there. So that's how that looks once that's installed. Okay, now this end down here is tapered, so you're going to make sure that it is following the contour of that hole right down there, so it's all nice and flush. That runs from here all the way up and through here, and this is a tight fit. Okay, now next they want this piece right here, and it's got a forked end to it, and we're going to try to get it between the two. I don't think the camera can see this or not, but there is a bar that's going right through this hole. There's a bar that goes right through that, which is this piece here. So this piece is supposed to connect to this piece, and it's going to go through this hole right here on this lever right here. So let me get this in and I'll show what that looks like. So I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but this bar is supposed to go through the fork of that end piece right there. Now my bar is not very long. It barely fits through that slot there. So I am going to glue that in, because if I don't, this piece is going to fall out. So let me get that secured in, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, I did end up gluing that in because my bar is just not long enough really to go through that entire slot. So I don't know if I've got a defective part, or maybe it broke in transit in the package. It didn't look like it was broken. It just looks like it's just not long enough. I did make sure that I was putting this piece in that it was all the way flush as far as it can go. So I mean, that bar is actually all the way through this hole down here when we first installed it. So I know that for sure. But that's what that looks like once that's in. Okay, next they want you to take this piece here, and they're calling this the Transversing knob, and this is plastic. And that is going to be a push to fit, and it's going to go over this piece right here. That's just going to go on just like that. And that's how that looks once that's installed. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in our last stage, we work on the tool case, and it looks like also we have some ammo here. And these are all metal. Okay, the first thing we want is the base of our tool kit, and we want to take this part right here. This is all plastic. We have a locating lug right here. It's going to go into the hole right there. This goes on just like this. Slips on just like that. Okay, now next what we want is our lid, which is going to go on just like this. And we're going to secure it in on both sides with two PP screws. Okay, now the PP screws are really super tiny, and I am going to be using my PH 000 screwdriver plus my magnifying glass headset to get these in. And that's how that looks once that's installed. The lid does move up and down, and it also snaps in. Then we bring our gun over, and these two lug holes right down here are going to match up to these two lug holes right there. It's going to go in just like that. And then on the other side, we're going to secure that in with two CP screws. And you'll notice that this did pop off, so I probably will end up gluing that in. And that's how that looks once that's installed. Now I think if you wanted to, you can open this up like this, and you can put at least one or two of those ammos in here like that. You can put in another one if you wanted to, and then you can just close that. But I really don't think that that is designed for that, because you'll notice those two lug casings right there. That actually gets in the way of the ammo anyway, so you're not really going to be able to lay these nice and flat in there, but you can at least put one in if you wanted to. Okay, next we want to bring over our trailer assembly here. And we take our gun, and this lug hole here, a lug screw, is going to go into this hole right there, just like that. And then we're going to turn this over, and we're going to secure it from the underneath using a KM screw. Okay, so I have this on its side. I'm going to go ahead and guide that screw right in, just like that, and secure that in. Okay, so that was the last screw of the final part at the end of this final stage for this final pack that completes the entire build of the Willys Jeep. Now in just a few minutes I'll place a video on the turntable outside to give you a 360 view of the completed gun, and then I'll go over some of the features and functions of the model. And then later I'm going to be posting a final reveal video of the entire build, the Jeep, the trailer, and the anti-tank gun. So keep a watch out for that video to be posted real soon. Okay, so I brought the gun outside, put it on the turntable so you can get a nice 360-degree view of the completed model before I start going through some of the features of it. Now you'll notice that the ammo is just standing on the outside of the gun. It's not really stored anywhere. I was hoping that this box that we put onto this shield would actually hold all the ammo, but it doesn't. Even in the instructions, the picture shows the ammo standing outside the gun, as you can see here. But you know, you can put a couple of the ammo in that box if you wanted to, but the more times you open and close that box, the more chances you are to break something. It is made out of plastic, so it is what it is. So I just wanted you to take a look at this in a 360 view, and then we'll go through some of the feature functions. Okay, so now if you want to configure the gun so that's going to be towed on the Jeep, you'll notice that we have these wheel stays right down here. There's little shields right here. Hopefully you can see that right here. And what we need to do is we need to then turn these around up so that the wheel touches the ground. And right here there's a lug here and this hole right here, and you just slip that right into that hole to lock that in. It's a little hard to do, but there it is right there. That locks that in. And you do the same thing on the other side. So we just move this up this way around, and then insert that lug into that hole, and then that just locks this into place. And now your wheels touch the ground, and then they can move back and forth. Okay, now the next thing we have is this shield here that kind of wobbles back and forth, and then we have these hooks right here. Well, right down here, these little hooks go into this hole right down here. So when you move this up, move the hooks up out of the way and then back down again into that hole, they'll lock that into place just like that. When you do this, you want to make sure you get both hooks up and then move them down just like that. Okay, so you'll notice that this actually came off again. These really don't lock into place. If you move the gun around a little bit, they will dislodge themselves. So you just got to put that back in again. Okay, so you'll notice that the gun does move from left to right, but it does not really go up and down at all. Okay, now to put this into the towing position where these bars are going to be narrowed down, you need to unlock them. And they're unlocked here by removing this pin and putting it into that hole there, and then taking this pin and doing the same thing. And then that will then allow these bars to move closer together. And then as you move the bars closer together, this ball hook right here is going to go into this hole socket right here like that. And then this, you have a hook right here. Lead that up, and you're going to then lower that hook down to this hole right here. That's going to go in just like that. And then to lock that into place, you move this handle up. And then that just locks this whole thing into place. Okay, now when you have all that done, your gun is now ready to be hooked up to your Jeep. And right back here is our towing hook. And I don't think this has to be up or down, but this does turn, depending upon how you want it to look, I guess, because you can hook it up just like that in the down position, or you can turn it around this way and put it into the up position if you want. Then there's that top of that hook that comes down. Now that's locked into place, and your gun can now be towed by the Jeep. Now with the LED cable here that operates the lights for the trailer, you can just kind of like wrap that right down into here, into this bumper area here. So that wire is now running along through here and is just hiding behind this bumper area there. Now, as I mentioned when we're assembling this does move up and down, this bar, and it does move that lever down there, if you can see that. It really doesn't do anything except what you see here. And at the same time, it's also aligning this sight. It goes up and down, just like that. Okay, now this lever really doesn't do too much other than it goes up, and you can see this piece here in the inside kind of move down a little bit. Hopefully you can see that with my hand in the way. And that's basically all that does. It doesn't do anything more than that. Okay, now to put your gun in the firing position, all we have to do is do everything in reverse that we've done. So we unhook it from our Jeep. We unhook it from back here. Moving our hook here. And then that removes that area there. And now we can then move our bars out. Then on both wheels we have this eye hook here, or this eyelet here, that's going to go into this eyelet over here, if you can see that. So we're going to then just move that over so that this top hole here aligns with that bottom hole. And once we have that aligned, we take our pin out from here and we put it into there. And that locks that wheel in, or locks this bar in. We do the same thing on the other side. Okay, then we disengage these wheel locks by pulling them back toward the wheel so that they move away from the wheel, and put them underneath so that the wheel then is raised off of the ground. We do that the same thing on the other side. Now during combat, I'm going to assume that this plate is in the down position. So we're just going to then lift our hooks out like that. And that puts our shield in the downward position, as you can see. Okay, now with those wheel guards that we've got down here at the bottom where it has lifted up these wheels, this is kind of like locked into place. It doesn't really move. And that's our gun in the firing position. And that's the features and functions of this gun. Nothing more to it than that. Now I put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right over to iXO Collections if you want to get this for yourself. I really hope you like this video and that you'll give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. Other than that, always have fun in your garage, your workshop, or wherever it is you build your models. And until next time, thanks for watching.